some people hit a breaking point, rock bottom, or they reach a point where like completely they're in this crisis, but they can't express. They're like stuck. But
Mm-hmm.
also they're only suffering and they're in pain, they're in misery on the inside. Nobody else knows it. I mean, you look at so many celebrities, you'll hear them one day suddenly
Yeah.
they're gone, but they have everything. Why is that? Because on the outside you look good, but on the inside you're suffering. So this is what
Hmm.
I call silent emotional crisis, and it is very, very prevalent in high performers, people
Hmm.
who have achieved, certain goals in their life, and it can happen
Yeah.
at any age.
So everyone, today is episode 2 of The Unhinged Guy, and today we have a very special guest with us. So this is Ron. She's an entrepreneur and coach, and she's the creator of a very interesting concept that I never thought I'll hear in my life. To be honest, never. And keeping the podcast name, I never thought this will be. But it's called Silent Emotional Crisis. I think a lot of people, we do have a kind of silence thing that we follow along. So we'll talk more about it from her. And she's based in Austin, Texas as of now. And we are going to explore the various intersection of the emotional patterns and the entrepreneur success that she has. And also understand the patterns and how the entrepreneurs feel in the way. And she'll explain more about it. I'm trying to tell more about her in a way that I personally could research and do. So I'll have it towards her now. So for her introduction. And yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for having me on your podcast. It's a pleasure being here and having this conversation. So, my quick introduction: I'm known as the silent emotional crisis expert, entrepreneur coach, and author of the book Realized: From Rock Bottom to Unconditional Love. And, after
Hmm.
working decades in global banking, tech space, in high performance environments and with high performers, and I've also spent the last decade, coaching entrepreneurs. So
Hmm.
today I work specifically, my niche is around entrepreneurs. I work with them so that I can work with them on their emotional patterns that are holding them back. At
Okay.
some point, they do kind of get stuck in different places, and it's usually not a mindset problem. So, those are the things I help them identify, dissolve, and then
Hmm.
they, kind of hit their next level, not only in business, but also holistically in their lives.
So this is very interesting. We'll talk more about it. So first, I'll ask you this question. So this
Mhm.
one, as a lot of my people that will be in the page and different journeys, there will be a lot of entrepreneurs or creators in the way, and they always had this. So you have this concept that was like really interesting. The name, the silent emotional crisis that you have. So what exactly it is, and what made you realize like it needs its own name, and it's like very distinct. Like I
Yeah.
don't think so I'll have someone have same in that way. And I'll want you to portray in a way that like even the person who is just like seeing you for the first time, they will also get an idea of it.
Of course. So, silent emotional crisis, it is a term that I have coined myself. It came to me after decades of working, observation, understanding patterns, human behavior, work patterns, how we show up in different spaces, right? It didn't happen overnight, but as I have been involved in my own inner work and, working on myself consciously for the last 20 years,
Hmm.
it's decades of work. And the reason I chose this also, I'll be honest in saying that I didn't really choose this in the way that this actually chose me, the term chose me.
Hmm.
So, last year I was writing my book, my memoir, Realized.
Hmm.
And as I was, writing a book is a very deeply, it's a very cathartic, so much is going on when you're bringing a book to life. So it was like over a year that I was going through the book writing process. And as I was, writing that book, last couple of years, not couple of years, couple of decades, as I was telling you, I worked in different
Hmm.
environments. And last
Yeah.
decade, I have worked with different kinds of people, high performers to influencers,
Hmm.
coaching them. So I was like never comfortable, like, okay, what is it that I want to take up as my niche, right? I always had like
Hmm.
this little bit of, always I kept tweaking it. a little bit, but I knew one day I will get my niche, because sometimes what I have observed and experienced is the more you chase things, the more they run away from you. It'll come to you. I mean, it'll
Yeah.
reveal itself to you when you are ready for it. It's the same way. So when I was writing that book, what happened was, as I was done writing the book and I was getting ready for publishing my book, I actually received that information. And again, that's a different process in itself, but it came to me that, listen, this is something you have lived, right? First
Hmm.
one, I have lived this for decades, since my teenage
Yeah.
years. Second, I have lost loved ones to this, people
Okay.
who I really deeply loved, so in the family, I've lost loved ones to this. And third thing is, while I was working with different types of people as a coach, and also my skill set is large. I do call myself an entrepreneur coach, but we all
Hmm.
have a toolbox. So, I'm not only a coach, but I'm a hypnotist. I have done past life regression. I have spiritual modalities. So it just depends, you have a toolbox like a mechanic.
Hmm.
You just have to, whatever, the client whom I'm working with, whatever
Hmm.
needs to get fixed or whatever we are working on, it needs a different tool depending on where they
Hmm.
are, who they are, right? So
Agreed.
as I
Yeah.
was doing all that, what happened was, because I had lived, lost people, and also as I'd worked with different people, there was like this common denominator that I sensed.
Hmm.
This is common, no matter, as a human being, there is some element that is common. And then, I was given the insight that you call this silent emotional crisis. And as soon as that,
Hmm.
I was journaling at the time, and as soon as I wrote it, it just clicked. Like, it's almost like all the dots connecting for 2 decades. And I can confidently say that I'm going to be writing a book alone on this topic in the next couple of years, because I want. That's how much I actually have observed this. So it just came to me, and I was like, yes. So this has, the niche has chosen me. I didn't choose the niche. And also, I
Hmm.
do love to work with entrepreneurs, because, again, after working with so many human beings, there is certain qualities, we can go into it a little bit later,
Yeah.
that is really required for the work that I do.
Hmm.
So I found out, based on my own observation and experience, and I'm not saying they are the only people, right? Anybody who has
Hmm.
courage and the type of qualities to do this work. I mean, I work with all of them, but I have
Hmm.
found that majority of the cases, it's the entrepreneurs who are willing to, not only invest in themselves, but commit to the work.
Hmm.
So that is why I've
Agreed.
done that. And now I'll just explain what actually it means, silent emotional
Hmm.
crisis.
Yes.
So this is a, unique concept, created by me. And what I mean by silent emotional crisis is, it is that gap that we as a human being, there is a gap that is created between our authentic self, like our true self,
Hmm.
and then somebody who we had to become. There is this split or a gap created. That gap between this person, your authentic self, and this person who you had to become to survive your family, to survive your environment, to survive your country, to survive your life experiences, or to survive, some difficult chapter in your life, or to belong in a community, or to be successful, or to, chase this title that you wanted, or money goal. Okay, let's say goal that
Hmm.
you wanted. So you had to become somebody. But there
Hmm.
is also like this authentic, real, true self. There is a gap that's created out of some sort of, again, it's unique for every person, right? And
Yeah.
usually I have seen with my work that it happens in childhood,
Hmm.
that performance. So one is your real self that you hide from the world, and one
Hmm.
is the self that knows, okay, I need to behave like this. If my parents should not beat me, I'm just making it a little bit
Yeah. No,
jovial at
but
this time.
what I've, yeah, yeah, but one thing I always feel, right, like if you are an entrepreneur, in a lot of cases, you feel like there is certain things that you always wanted to change in your life, and you have that grudge inside you. I think it comes from that space a lot. A lot of people, like I'm not saying everyone, But for a lot of people, it comes from that. Like either they are not able to solve a problem or they never felt content in the things that they have been doing. So in that way, that's why when it comes from that space, yeah, again, like what I have personally observed, like when it comes from that space, the feeling is typically very stronger. Like the achievements also becomes very personal to them. Like it's even if like they will feel in a particular idea, they will take it to their heart a lot than a typical thing that they do. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a personal why which drives them,
Mm.
right? So, just wrapping up silent emotional crisis, this gap that is created, right, from who they are naturally to who they had to become for whatever XYZ reason, that starts and that gap keeps widening. And for a lot of people, it's not pleasant. You know, there is an internal crisis that is happening because they're not able to be themselves. They're not able to be comfortable, be who they are. And what happens is over a period of time, and I have worked with people in their 70s to people in their 20s who are already in that crisis at a breaking point. So as the gap widens, you know, some people, again, depending on their life experiences, right? Some people hit a breaking point, rock bottom, or they reach a point where like completely they're in this crisis, but they can't express, they're like stuck. But also they're only suffering and they're in pain, they're in misery on the inside. Nobody else knows it. I mean, you look at so many celebrities, you'll hear them one day suddenly they're gone, but they have everything. Why is that? Because on the outside you look good, but on the inside you're suffering. So this is what I call silent emotional crisis, and it is very, very prevalent in high performers, you know, people who have achieved, you know, certain goals in their life. And it can happen at any age. Again, your journey, your life experiences are unique, right? I have worked with somebody who was 22 and he was at a breaking point already. And I have worked with somebody who was 75 and they've hit their breaking point then. So yeah, that is what I call a silent emotional crisis in a jest.
Wow, that was like seriously, like I never thought it can be portrayed in that way. Because like you know, like a lot of times what happens is like you made it into a very concise way. What typically happens is like they will either target a particular trait, or what they will do is like you know, like let's say someone is not very much open about things. So they will
Yeah.
only focus on a particular trait, but you're going into their whole thing and why it is
Yeah.
happening. I'm personally like I need your insight on it. That I feel that like people who are like let's say who are in their 20s to 22,
Yeah.
18 to 22, let's say, and people
Yeah.
who are after 70, it's similar to handle them. Is it the case because they are kind of rigid puts in those ways? Is it the truth? I just wanted to know from you.
I like your question where you asked, are they rigid or are they flexible, right? This is why I began saying that, this work, to do this work, right? It's not about, oh, you're an entrepreneur, you can do it. Or, oh, you're a housewife and you can't do it. Or you are in a bank job and you're a, accountant, you can't do it. No. Here is the thing, alchemy. Okay. So there are two requirements. First of all, you have to be courageous, right? That is like a prerequisite for almost everything you do in life. I think you very well know that.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
to live life on your terms in this world, you have to have courage. Okay. So that's given. That's a
Of course.
prerequisite. But there are two things after that to do the work. Okay. So if you want to transform, you want to change yourself, you want to change your life completely, two things are, one is intent. Okay.
Of course.
One is intent, pure intent. The second one is sacrifice. Are you willing to give up? Today, if Aditya is this version, let's say version XYZ, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice that. I'm going to be like, yeah, this Aditya is going to go. Are you ready for that? So many people are not. So when you talk about, what about a 75, years of age versus 22? Again, I'm not saying that they can't. They can if they have these two qualities, right? With the prerequisite that they're courageous. So I have worked with people. But again, it again depends on also like how much they want to change their life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true actually. Like I also think it comes from that comfort zone kind of thing that will be there. Like, see, I think once you get into that, even when like I think it comes from that only. And it's really great that you are able to crack that thing because even like I tried it a lot, but it does not like when I try to do it with the people that were around me, I was getting a lot of that rigid force. So I tried to a certain point, but after that, I was like, okay, it's okay.
To
Like
work with other
life will
people, right?
happen. Yes,
Right.
yeah. And after that, like I feel it's progress and kind of it happens like when the person is willing to have change also. As you told, intent, right? So it's like when they also want change in their life, that's when it hits them more. It's just you have to show them the way, but they should be willing to change like the how the thing is going in their life.
Yeah, and that is why, with my work, I don't pursue anyone.
Okay.
They have to come, there is a financial investment. Only then people are serious, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Of course. Agreed.
I mean, it's not just the money, too, because some people have lots of money. It doesn't mean anything, but they don't
Yeah.
want to change, right? But
But
here's
time will
the,
be, yeah.
sorry.
No, no. I'm saying in that spectrum, time will be very essential to them. Like they will value time like money, is what I was saying. Yeah.
And here's the thing, Aditya, like, what
Hmm.
separates the lions from the sheep, right? It
Hmm.
is, honestly speaking, in retrospect, if I look at my own life or the people I work with, they're all like, they're doing their own thing. They're not
Hmm.
bound. Maybe when they were younger as children, they had to follow certain rules and conditions with their parents. For example, let me talk about entrepreneurs because as I said, entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
first and foremost, what I've seen is a lot of them want money, right? They want the freedom. They don't want to work a 9 to 5 job. They were like, I want the freedom to do, be my own boss and do my own thing. Great. So, and then they develop those skills, right? They hire whatever business coaches they need. They know their strategy.
Hmm.
Now, one of my coaching mentors, Tony Robbins, says business is 80% psychology and 20% strategy. So these guys have the 20% down and they make millions. I'll actually take a real life example. One of my clients, he was making 4 million in revenue per year.
Hmm.
And then within very quickly, early 20s, tasted success very quickly. And then he got stuck. It was not so much
Hmm.
the revenue aspect he got stuck. He was not suffering. He got stuck. The block was happening in his relationship. He had
Hmm.
friends, but very shallow friendships. And then he met this amazing girl, and then he got stuck because after a year of dating, it was at a point where it can't move forward the way it is the relationship. And
Hmm.
then he doesn't know, he doesn't have the tools. He knows the tools for making money,
Hmm.
but he doesn't have the tools. And then, and the one thing I like about entrepreneurs is they have full accountability. They know if something has
Yeah.
to change, it has to be them because their daily living, right, their income is tied to their own personal development.
Yeah.
So even for business, so they come, so when they connect with me and I tell them that, okay, you know what, this is kind of, I do an assessment, right? And things, and then we can work on. One thing they do understand is, okay, they take full accountability. And then I worked with this person, right? And then we dug, and like as we were digging deeper, see, no matter what the role is, there is 20% of role based, some sort of what job they're doing, which country
Yeah.
they're from. Like
Hmm.
there is 20% of custom traits that they have, depending on where they are. After that, the 80% is just human patterns, human
Yeah.
behavior as human beings. Then we start working into that. And then he realized, I mean, by the time he was done, or, by the time we were done working, the relationship issues that he was seeing, which impacts him deeply, and it also affects the work also, right? It's not like it won't
Yeah. Of
affect the
course.
work in some way because it's all interconnected. So what
Yeah.
happened
Yeah. Of
was I
course.
had, yeah, and entrepreneurs usually think it's all mindset, it's all mindset. They're very disciplined, they're very relentless with this, but then they have to step back because they've also gone too far from their own heart. They've gone too far from their own emotions, and
Hmm.
they've gotten so disconnected. And a lot of entrepreneurs have ways to mask that with compulsive behaviors and whatnot. Then they come, and then we do the deep work. In that, this client's, scenario, a lot of
Hmm.
his issues were underlying with his parents' divorce, which happened when he was
Okay.
about 7 years of age. A lot of dysfunction and trauma set in. But at the same
Hmm.
time, basically, it's a very deep cleaning process, if I can tell that. We clean out because you identify what are the emotional patterns. Because, see,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
hypnotist too, right? So you have to know what is your conscious mind working, and you are basically a puppet to your unconscious mind. So
Yeah.
that is where most of my work lies. The
Mm.
strategy lies in 20%. The 20% strategy for business lies in the conscious mind. The
Of
80%
course.
psychology and emotional patterns that are running your life is lying in the unconscious mind, which actually is 90% of the brain. So that is where my work lies with my clients.
This
And
is
they're
very
very happy.
interesting.
I mean, after he did the work, they continued to, they completely transformed. I mean, one common denominator I've seen, and it actually shocks me sometimes. I see
Hmm.
their whole face change sometimes within like 4 sessions. You do a before and after, their whole energy and their face has changed. That is the power of doing emotional work.
But
Because you
I
know what
always
is
had.
emotion? Sorry, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to just give you this.
Yeah, sure, sure.
You know what is emotion?
Like
No,
what,
I'm
how
asking.
you respond to things. But no, no, what I think is like how you respond to things is emotions, is what I
Okay.
personally think.
Okay, there is a simpler definition, and a lot of people that, as you said, most of us think it's a feeling, right? Crying,
Hmm.
laughing, joy, this, that. But emotion is just energy in motion. So, what is the energy that is pulsating right now, asking for your attention? So, that is what you need to pay attention to.
So yeah, that makes sense. What I feel personally, like I'll tell you one thing. I always
Okay.
had this doubt. So that doubt that I always had was that what if like everything that like I've suffered through and all, if it gets fixed, will I lose myself? Get it? Like, these are the like I always had this doubt.
Yes.
I'll lose my spark if I'll fix whatever is wrong.
Okay. I know this question, and I'm sorry to say, but a lot of entrepreneurs are actually driven by trauma.
Yes, exactly. That's why I asked that question.
Lot of entrepreneurs, business plans, what they do, what fuels them, that relentless, they're punishing themselves, and there is always
Yes.
emotional trauma behind that drive. And what you're
Hmm.
asking me is, I have a sharpness right now. I have that razor
Hmm.
blade edge. Will I lose it if I do? And I'll tell you what,
Exactly.
some clients don't want to work. I have had clients, they're like, no, I don't want to do this work because I don't want to lose that edge. Because they know if I start
Yeah, yeah.
doing this work. But here's the thing, I've also had clients, they're like, yeah, I don't care. I can't live like this, right? Because the extremes that they experience, I mean, they have 50 million sitting in their bank account. They have no friends. They have no relationships with, healthy relationships. They're have compulsive habits, right? Whether it's drugs or drinking or partying. So there is only so much, some people. And again, so it is up to the entrepreneur when they've had enough is enough. I'm going to do something about it because I don't want to live like this. And usually
Hmm.
there is something, right? Either it's money or either it's honey. So one of the
Yeah.
two things, they'll come to a point and they'll be like, okay, enough is enough. I'm either going to lose money or either I'm going to lose my honey. So what is that that I want to lose? Or they want something and they can't have it, right? Like, for example, this
Hmm.
client we discussed, he couldn't have a healthy relationship with his girlfriend. So then this person was like, you know what? I not only want money and I want this also. For me, I want a balance, like balance meaning a holistic, like he wants to experience
Hmm.
both sides of the coin, right?
Kind
Then
of
I
like
said,
let
listen,
work-life balance, kind of. That
to be
work-life
honest,
balance.
I feel like entrepreneurs love what they're doing. So I don't really believe
Yeah,
in
actually, yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
even
Agreed.
anybody who loves what they're doing, right? They don't care about balance. They want to keep doing it
Yeah,
all the time because they're having so much fun, right? But I
exactly.
understand your sentiment. They want a holistic life, right? I
Hmm.
mean, by the end of the day, even if you have $50 million in your bank account, you can only eat 3 times a day if you want to be healthy or
Yeah,
less.
exactly. Yeah,
You
agree.
can't eat
Yeah,
like six
exactly.
times a day.
True, 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 true.
So this
Yeah,
client
that's
is,
true. Actually, yeah. Continue.
yeah,
I would just say,
right?
yeah, that's true.
No, no, take your moment because
No,
no
I'm
matter how
just
much
thinking
money
because
you have,
yeah, after a point, like now you make like I feel also like see until like after you are kind of comfortable in your life, you realize that the normal things that you do, it becomes kind of boring after a point, like because you're just doing the same thing. So you have to keep finding a new thing.
yeah,
How
and
do you
I'll tell
sustain
you,
relationship in that?
entrepreneurs are expert at finding shiny new objects to chase after,
Mhm.
to keep them
Yeah, yeah, of
distracted
course.
and not do the stuff. But the few entrepreneurs who are willing to do the work, right, Aditya,
Hmm.
they want holistic lives. They then,
Hmm.
and here's what I will say. See, healing and working on yourself actually takes you to a point. where you're
Mm-hmm.
operating from your authentic power, where you're operating from a
Uh-huh.
place where you feel safe, where you
Mm-hmm.
feel joy, where you feel content. Okay? And it doesn't mean you don't have your goals. The client that
Mm-hmm.
I worked with, I gave you an example. His goal is to become a billionaire. Okay?
Yeah.
He's making millions, but he didn't lose
Mm.
it. Like he worked with me. We fixed all
Yeah.
of his issues. He still has the same goal, but I asked him, what is the difference now? I know what the difference is. What is the difference now? Like, how do you feel now, before and after? And
Mm-hmm.
just like most entrepreneurs, he was fueled by trauma before.
Yeah.
He was self-punishing. Most of these habits, a lot of, even in the entrepreneur and the
Yeah.
mindset industry, work 7 days, work out, train your
Mm.
mind, do this. You're actually punishing yourself. And again, see, there
Yeah.
is a difference between discipline and taking care of your body in a good way, and there is a bad way of also doing things. So if you're punishing yourself, that will only take you so far. So this person said, I was trauma fueled, right? His drive was trauma fueled. He was punishing himself. And now, when he's done the work, he first of all is comfortable in his body. He works out. It's not like he
Mm-hmm.
starts working out. He works out, but he doesn't push on days where it feels like
You don't
punishing
feel like it.
himself. Emotionally, all of his compulsive habits, it didn't happen overnight, but over 2 years, they all fell away. They fell away organically. See, that is what we want,
Mm.
right? So
It has to come from within, kind of.
it has to come from within, you're right. But here is the underlying, right? What am I working on? What did I tell you? I'm working on emotions, which is energy in motion. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, when a client comes to me, what is the energy in motion? If it is trauma fueled, we identify those, right? And then we fix that energy. We fix
Mm-hmm.
on replacing energies, transforming
Mm-hmm.
energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy can
Yeah.
only be transformed. So when we
Yeah.
start transforming the energy within the client, automatically he doesn't want to drink. He wants to
True.
also show up for work. He still has the billionaire goal, but the way he's
Mm.
showing up today is so beautiful. He is like, I am so happy for no reason, and he's still making the money. Yes, of course,
Mm.
his focus. He had to the business model that he had. He had to reassess everything because it was
Yeah.
very unhealthy business model.
That's
And
true,
good for
actually. Like,
him. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I was just thinking, like, because as you were talking about this thing, like, I think it comes from that point that mindset technically is not the problem, right? Like, it's not the mindset. It's like where they are understanding where they're procrastinating or they're kind of sabotaging themselves, as in, like, they feel that they deserve this. That's why they are doing this rather than what they actually like. Like like as you told about the trauma part, right? It comes from that point, like, okay, no, I don't deserve good things. Deserve to be in this state. That's why I will do more good if I'm in that state. If I'll be comfortable in the situation that I'm in, then I will not evolve. I think it comes, personally, what I think it comes from that scenario. What do you think on that?
Yeah, see, a lot of see, as human beings, we have, like, I call them, like, again, it's some of us borrowed from my mentors, but I have added
Mm,
my own human needs, 7 human needs, right? Like, there are different human needs: freedom, certainty, significance, love and connection, growth,
mm,
variety, and there are these basic human needs which all of us have. Okay, when these needs are not met, then we still find ways to meet these needs, but it's
mm.
it's unhealthy.
Uh,
Okay, and another thing I will say is about mindset. See, mindset is very popular. I don't have to explain to anybody what
yeah,
mindset,
of course,
what
of
what
course.
what I'm trying to, bring into the world with my work is emotion set. How is your emotion set, right? So the thing is, the connection is because the mindset, yes, mindset is required. I know the power of unconscious mind and the conscious mind, so we work there. But when a regular normal person who doesn't know deep, who's just focused on their goals, they're just operating from their conscious mind. They don't know the power of their, what is actually running them, right? For example, some of the things that you said, right, procrastination and others,
Mm-hmm.
they are symptoms, Aditya, to the
Mm,
actual emotional problems that they have deeply suppressed or buried deep down. and the symptoms are playing out. And I'll give you a quick, very short, another client example. A client, again, an entrepreneur came to me about, this was about 4 or 5 years ago. He said, I have a procrastination problem. Okay. So I want to work with you for, we were like, okay, we'll work on the procrastination. Oh my God. 2 sessions. We used to do weekly sessions at that point. 2 sessions in, forget procrastination. I'm sitting there working with this guy on his porn addiction. That
Oh.
wasn't taught to me anywhere, how to coach someone with porn addiction. But I quickly, again, it is a symptom. See, I am who
Hmm.
I am. I have innate wisdom. So I'm like, this is another symptom. Compulsive behavior,
Hmm.
whether it's drinking, whether it's porn addiction, whatever. These are all just again symptoms, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Procrastination.
Of course.
So I pivoted. I was like, okay, because enough trust also had built in that couple of sessions. See, I have this gift
True.
of creating deeply safe spaces for my clients where all of their deep, dark secrets come out. Because they know she's not going to judge me, she's going to help me.
Yeah.
So they'll start pouring out every damn thing that they want to, tell somebody and they've not told. So when that came out, I told the client, like, listen, this is also a symptom. Let's work deeper. And I understood. And there is usually a linchpin that holds all these things together. You pull that. I have to find that. In every people, again, there can be more than one linchpin. See, for this procrastination, there is a thread. I am going to go look for that linchpin that is creating all this, holding this story together.
Yeah, and even I was gonna come to this question only after that. It was like as you were talking about, right? Like that one. So like, what happens when like someone he is in that silent emotional crisis and like he's been in it for years, but like
Mhm.
keeps responding by saying, I'm working hard and pushing through so that he can avoid
Yeah,
that thing. And like,
yeah.
and also I think like I was doing my research, then I saw that you also experience certain parts within your own life between that scenarios. How did you handle that? It made you
Okay.
realize these things.
Sure. And I'll also tie a point that you brought up, and I really want to talk because, as an answer to this question, I'll tie it all together because it is part of my journey as well. Earlier you said, what about the self love part, And it is so important to talk about love. And honestly, that is the reason we are here. All right. I mean, I myself drive a dream car, which I love. I am living a very luxurious, comfortable life. But by the end of the day, love is why we are here. No matter what anybody says, if they ask themselves, they want to
Yeah, of
experience
course.
love, and also they want to be loving
Yes,
towards themselves. Okay.
of
So
course.
a lot of people lack self love, and I was one of those people too. Okay. And I'll tell you why almost everybody lacks this is because when we come into this world, Aditya, that is a very conditional love that you're experiencing from the moment you're born. Okay. So what happens is now you are like experiencing conditional love. If you do this, this will happen. If you do, that is where the split happens, right? So most of
Of
us
course.
have experienced unconditional love, have come into this world with just nonsense reasons, utilitarian reasons. And third,
Mhm.
nobody actually gives a damn about who you really are and how to
Mhm.
honor that, how to respect that, how to say that this is your life, do whatever you want with it. Everybody is trying to use you, establish authority, do what I tell you to do, I know better than you. So that in itself creates a very destructive definition or idea of love. We don't even know what love is. Okay, we have a very distorted issue. And plus,
Of
add on
course.
top of that, forget self love. Add on top of that, movies, TV,
Yeah,
nonsense,
yeah.
all that
Yeah, they
stuff.
will put a narrative in your mind.
So you are getting hypnotized by those programs are getting installed. And then your parents have already installed destructive experiences in you because they're unconscious, ignorant. And also the
Mhm.
foremost thing is we are also not taught our real true nature as a human being. What is our true nature?
Yeah, of course. We are
So
not. Like it's like we don't do a lot of self discovery is what I feel. Like that self discovery part, I think it's very less. Like as in like even on a personal level and different level, it's like very less. Like like you want like you just think this is what you have to achieve. Like I think a lot of people will say this is like you what you want as a goal, but what you want at in a core of life that is like I don't think so. It's present with a lot of them. Like
correct.
I realized one time that one thing that always gave me like kind of a purpose in life was like helping people in a way that like education was something that always was something that excited me, gave me a life purpose. So when I first got the taste of it, like I was able to influence someone into learning something or they were having trouble. So I always came from that part where I was like, it happened in like I was talking from a point that I'm teaching it to a younger self of mine. Like if I was searching for something and it was not present, so I'll say in those words or think that it can be like that. So I think it came for me personally in that form. Like that's one thing that I found that was giving me more like fulfillment in life rather than, materialistic kind of thing. Even though I'm materialistic enough where it is needed, goal kind of thing is what I felt. I think when I asked with my friends and a lot of people around me, I think that is not present. This like I was fortunate enough that I found this thing that actually like was giving me a purpose in life. But when I ask it with people around me, I think that is very hard to find. Like, let's say 90% of them will not never find it.
I'm very controversial on this. What is my life's
Uh,
purpose and everything?
okay.
If you want to say, I can talk about it, but let me wrap up the loop. And I do want to acknowledge, speaking about self love and everything, right? You spoke about life purpose. I want to talk about it. So let's table that for 1 second. So
Sure, sure,
wrapping up
sure.
love and everything, we understood. So I was
Hmm.
also at a point where I was also run by the same things, and I reached a point
Hmm.
in my life at the age of 33 where I was done.
Hmm.
On the outside, I was like, I had everything, living in
Hmm.
US, traveling the world, everything, like everything I wanted out on the external success. It was the best of times, doing very well in my career, everything. On the inside, totally emotionally broke, bankrupt.
Hmm.
And I reached a
Hmm.
point because of, I had some very difficult chapters. And I reached a point at the age of 33 where I decided I'm going to take myself out of the equation. I'm going to kill myself. Okay. I was like, I planned my
Hmm.
suicide. I was like, I'm done. I don't give a damn. I'm out. So, and then during that week that I was about to kill myself, some experience happened to me. I won't go deep into it. I've actually written my memoir. That's my memoir, Realized from Rock Bottom to
Hmm.
Unconditional Love. The one word that I do use is I had the
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. That's true. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. True. Agreed. Agreed. No, that was seriously like, yeah. Actually, like I never thought in that scenario. So yeah. So like again. So I typically keep a time barrier that like it will go till like 52 minutes max. So like if anything you want to set on the ending note, I'll just set one thing that found a lot of relatable things in there. One thing was like it was really interesting concept because I always used to believe in this thing that see energy never dies, right? Like it just goes from one form to another. That how you explain that thing and with the emotion part is something that I typically don't hear at all, and it was really fresh for me also. And the live purpose talk, I think it's very hard to find someone that can actually talk about that thing. So I really like that. And if you want to, like on the ending note, if you want to add on to something, it will be really great. And yeah, let me know. Hmm. Yeah, true. Hmm. 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 It was really great. Okay. So thank you again, Ron, for joining me today. And yeah, this was episode 2. And we'll again try to do another episode really soon. We'll dive more into different parts of it. But really, and thank you a lot for taking time to my new initiative, this new podcast. And I learned a lot from you today. And again, of course, it's always a journey. I'll keep on learning from you. And thank you again. I'll talk to you really soon. And for everyone, do check her. I'll put her profiles and everything, all her journey in the description. You can check it out. All the socials thing will be there. You can check them all out and and if you want to send her a DM and talk to her, that will also, of course, be open by her. And you can talk to her. And with that being said, I'll see you and Ron in next one.